Hey guys, this is Hell Hades. This is an Eternal Evolution video, and today we're going to do the ultimate beginner's guide. There's already one out there. I've seen it on YouTube, the ultimate beginner's guide. This one takes it to the next level. Now, I'm going to go into all of the details. Make sure you watch this end to end because there will be some juicy nuggets in here. You don't want to miss any of it. Now, if you've not started playing yet, you've just kind of seen me doing videos on Eternal Evolution. I've never seen a game be adopted by a community so quickly and so vastly. Yeah, we've got something like 60 to 70 HH gaming guilds. So first thing, if you want to get involved, use my link down below. It'll get you an elite hero, Artas. It will get you some summons, some diamonds, some gold, all of that good stuff to get you off to a good start. And you can kind of get involved either on iOS or Android. I'm playing here on LD Player, which is an emulator on my PC. You can also use BlueStacks. If you're going to use one of those two, take my link on your home screen, go into your browser, or if you're on BlueStacks, go into Chrome and paste my link in the browser here. Not in the browser on your PC. You won't be able to get it going. Okay, that's tip number one. But yeah, once you've got it going, let's get into the game. So, look, fantastic game. Basically, when you log in, you want to pick, not my server, you want to pick the latest server in your region that has been released. Yeah, I'm on 59. The reason for that is you actually get a load of events on the newer servers. So you actually want to follow the event path of the server rather than the player. It's very weird the way they do it, but ultimately in the first 3 weeks of a server going live, they do really cool summoning events. Okay, so you want to make sure that you're on the newest server. Don't worry though, if you're in EU or NA, you can still join guilds cross server. So it actually doesn't matter if you're on a different server or not. So look, when I first started playing, it felt a little bit overwhelming on the first day. I'll be honest with that. It was like, there's so much going on. I couldn't really get my head around some of the different functions of it. So this video, I'm going to try and walk you through some of the different kind of elements that you need to get involved with. Okay, firstly, it's an idle game. Yeah, so you actually earn rewards whilst you're not playing. So you see here, over the last 18 hours, my dudes have been fighting when I've not been playing the game. I come back in and I collect it up. Try and make sure you come back in within a 24-hour period so that you get the maximum of your rewards. Otherwise, this will cap out. Also, the further you are through the campaign, the story mode, which is down here, the more rewards you get per hour. So it's actually important to try and advance your story mode as much as possible. You actually get, along the way, various things like this. Instantly gain 2 hours worth of patrol gains. The further you are through the game, the more they're worth. I actually went through a period of stockpiling tons of those, and I was advised, don't do that because it slows your progression. So although you get more because you're further in campaign, you actually would rather just take those early so that you progress quicker, and therefore you're gaining more on an hourly basis. Yeah, it's kind of like flip one for the other. So yeah, so focus on story mode campaign. I guess the first tip is let's have a nice balanced roster. So I'm running 1 tank, 1 healer, 1 single target high damage range DPS, and 2 AoEs, one of which has got a bit of control in it. There's tons of heroes in the game. They all look really sweet. They all look very cool. There's plenty of tier lists out. I did a tier list video just a few days ago, so you can kind of get involved with all of that. But ultimately, you can go in and kind of check your skills. If you want to kind of, feel it out for yourself, check your skills and kind of decide who you want to invest in. Now, you'll see on my heroes, some of them are different colors. And basically what happens in this game is you start off with basically green, common, blue, rare, purple, elite, and then purple SSS. Yeah, so SSS is the equivalent of a legendary champion in this game. Now, you notice that even though some champions started off as purple, you level them up to these different levels through evolving them. So any hero in the game, you can actually evolve right up to immortal. Yeah. The way you do it is through the evolve system. I'll show you that in a second. But basically, having more copies of the same hero means that you'll be able to push their stats higher quicker. Now, how do you know if you want to level someone out or not? Pretty much anyone who doesn't have 4 skills. See, he's only got 3 skills potentially here. Anyone who doesn't have 4 is fodder. They're just food heroes that you're going to pump into someone else to evolve them. Anyone who's got 4, and this is a really good call out here, Serena is going to be someone that potentially could make your squad at some point. Okay, so you don't want to feed them necessarily early on. Serena is involved in a lot of the early game like events and stuff like that for the server. She's a fantastic healer, as good as really the SSS legendary version healer in the game. So she is someone that you're going to want to invest in nice and early and do the events to get multiple copies of her. And then when we get to evolving our heroes, so let's carry on with the hero path. You've got this evolve screen here. In fact, I'm going to do some summons so you can kind of see how you get involved in evolving people. So we're going to take some of our basic summons. You can summon basic heroes as often as you like. Yeah, as soon as you've got them, if you want to build out a bigger roster, if you want to get yourself some food to improve your team, whatever, you can summon them whenever you like. But the limited ones, you want to summon when there is strong banners or when there is events running. And in the first 3 weeks, you get a double chip event where you basically get double the reward for your summon. And there is events for big SSS tier champions or heroes, which I'll get onto in a second. So you can see these are my 2 banners that I've got running right now, where I could get either Zyda or I could get Ravina as a kind of like enhanced rate summons, but also you get a chance to get the actual hero. If I'm in the way here, I am. You get the actual hero, like for sure, after 60 summons. So you want to make sure that you're saving those summons for big heroes, like Crete is a good one. Bailey Hudson is a really good one. Emma. They're the 3 really, which are absolutely top tier in different roles in the game. So limited, don't summon until you've got massive events. Advanced, hold on to for the summoning events as well. So you do need to be a bit patient with those 2 categories. Advanced is less of a thing, but definitely limited you want to be holding on. Now, one thing you absolutely need to take away from this video. When you're doing your pulls, you get this exchange token. You get these chips. Yeah, data chips. This is where they call it like a double chip event. You'll get double these on some of the summoning events. I think the event is in week 3 if you're on a new server. These double chips don't come around very often, but you get to buy up the SSS heroes that you like. Yeah, I would say almost exclusively only buy gene hybrids. Yeah, a gene hybrid will be the equivalent of any SSS hero you want. So if you're looking if you need to do that kind of evolve with a copy, a gene hybrid will go in against any. And they cost 80 versus all of the SSS tier here costing 120. So you can actually buy up the gene hybrid in one summon event, go into the other summon event and buy up the gene hybrid in there. Yeah, and then when they reset, you can do the same, buy up 2. So you're always wanting to buy up those gene hybrids before you buy up any of the SSS heroes. So anyway, I've summoned a few. We've now got some heroes to evolve. Yeah, I picked up all of that fodder. And bam, I got them down here. Really cool system in this game. You go into quick evolve and it will do the grunt work for you. Yeah, so it will kind of just turn those very low levels into the next level up. And then if you do intelligent evolution, it will then level them again. And you're like, why am I leveling up this fodder? Because you need them to enhance your other heroes. Yeah, it's a really simple to understand kind of diagram here on this little exclamation mark. To evolve people to the next stage, you need obviously your hero plus the next hero of that same faction. There's 3 factions in the game. Gives you the evolve. You then need a copy of that hero to evolve again. You then need one of the same faction to evolve again, then a copy. Same faction, but now with a yellow border. So the fodder needs to be leveled up an extra stage. Copy. Yellow, copy, yeah. So that's the kind of way that it rolls. Never use a copy when it just needs to be one of the same faction. Always make sure this is fodder. Follow the system because eventually, I mean, you need a lot of copies of heroes to get up to the absolute highest rank. So I could show you an example here. I've got fodder champion, 3 skill champion, who I can evolve up to the next level. Now, I can evolve him using a copy of himself, but the next evolve up for him would need a copy of himself. Okay, so I'm actually going to hold off on that because I don't want to waste the copy because I might need that to get him up to a yellow. I'm looking for yellow upgrades nowadays. But yeah, if I've got this guy here, the Grama, basically his next evolution is a yellow background. I've got fodder up to a yellow background, so I can evolve him up and it will take him up to the next. And actually evolving gives you a lot of stats. Yeah, so if you've got a choice of 5 tanks, but one of them you've got lots of copies of, at least early game, that's going to be the one you invest in. Okay, make sure that's the one you invest in because evolving them to a higher level will give you a lot of progression really quick versus just like spreading the load out across all of those tanks. You want somebody as high a level as you can. And I'll give you an example of that on my roster. My best tank is a mythic level 2, which is Isa. She's not my best tank in terms of the hero that I own, but I had a lot of copies of her. Yeah, versus someone like a Hercules, who I would rather have leveled out. I just didn't have any copies of him. So, you know, it wasn't worth me kind of investing tons of time and energy into him. So yeah, the evolution system is good. Now, imagine if you're like, yeah, but I've made a mistake. I've taken someone up to a high level and they're actually not someone that I want to use. I've made a mistake. In the same screen, you can actually reset a champion, a hero. So I could say, right, this Omar, I want my resources back. And it will give you everything back apart from the copies that you've used to level him up to his overall grade. Yeah, so all of the resources in terms of the blue stamina stuff, I don't know what it's called, the blue stuff to level him up levels, all of the red crystals to take him to the next stage, all of it will come back on a 1-for-1. Yeah, you'll get it all back. The only thing you don't get back is the copies that you put into him to level him up to his stage. Now, another cool thing about this game is you actually only need to level up 5 heroes. Yeah, you see the ones with the white writing? They're the ones that I need to level up. White writing, white writing. The ones with the orange writing are all gaining their levels through the inherit system. So whenever I get a hero that I want to level out next, I've got these 5, which I'm leveling, and then I throw in an extra one. Let's say I wanted to level up this dude. I throw him in there, and that copy or that hero now will go up to the level of my lowest of my 5. So I'm only leveling out 5. Everyone else instantly gains that level of that copy. It's a brilliant system. It means that I only need to concentrate my resources on 5 heroes at a time. Okay, hope you're still with me. We're focusing on the hero part a bit more because this is one of the things which I did poorly initially. Now, you can level up a hero whenever you want. Yeah, if you've got enough of this blue stuff, what is it called? Just hero XP. There you go. If you've got enough hero XP, you can just level up. Yeah, until you hit a point where leveling up doesn't work anymore because you need, if I'm my one that's 139, here we go. So my Ravina needs these red crystals to level up, to advance. Now, they end up becoming one of the hardest resources to have enough of to keep progressing. But early on, you're fine. And again, if you do it wrong, you can just reset that hero and get that stuff back. Okay, but definitely this is one of the resources which is toughest to get. You also get talents for your heroes, which as you level up, as you evolve them into the next grade. Yeah, so this one, quite high grade now, legendary. I get more talents unlocked. Now, some of these talents are not relevant at all to that hero. Yeah, so Sorietta is an attack-based hero, which means that all of her damage comes from her attack, which means that, you know, I can pretty much put in stats everywhere. It's fine, really, because I still benefit from extra HP. I still benefit from defense, because that's what keeps me alive. Yeah? Whereas somebody like a tank, an Oisa, gets 0 benefit from attack. So actually, you don't want to be pumping that up to full. It's a complete waste. Yeah, so depending on the hero type is where you invest your talents. But you definitely want to be upgrading their skills if they're people that are in your main squad. And if you make a mistake, behind me here, there is a reset button. You'll just get all of it back. So there's no danger with investing in a hero and playing around with them, because you can just get all of your resources back if you decide, you know what, they're just not cutting it for you. And it's like, how do I know which stats to worry about? Well, for every hero, if you click on any of their skills, it will give you the overview of their skill. And it will also say something around how they do damage or how they mitigate damage. So Oisa here, for example, summons bolts of divine light from the sky to strike enemies, inflicting 330% of her defense as damage, and has got a chance to stun enemies. Okay, so if you want her to hit for any damage, you need to build her defense up. Okay, and if you want her to stun, this is only for arena. You need accuracy. From what I'm hearing, in PvE stuff, accuracy is basically not required, which is interesting as well. So if you're looking for arena, she needs accuracy, but for PvE, you don't need a lot of accuracy at all. So the other thing which I did terribly when I started the game, like probably my worst mistake when I started playing the game, I've got a new hero here in the drama who doesn't have equipment on right now. When I first started, I went like this: equip all, like an absolute monkey, okay? And you think the game would be sensible enough to equip good stuff. It's not. It equips absolute useless stuff, okay? So pretty much on a damage dealer, as a rule of thumb, you would want to be trying to look for crit rate gloves. Yeah, so if I replace these, I've got a little kind of filter down here. I can find crit rate as a main stat. Firm. I want to be looking for crit rate gloves. Cool thing in this game, it doesn't cost me any silver, any gold, whatever, to change gear from one hero to another, or to just kind of play around with changing gear. Doesn't cost me anything. So again, if you made a mistake, doesn't matter. You can fix it. We then got the helm. Yeah, so for a damage dealer, this champion does damage based on attack. So guess what we need for the helm? We want to find a main stat of attack percentage. Ideally, percentage stats are better than flat stats. If you're very early, just put on something you've got which makes a difference. So if you've got just extra attack or normal attack, that'll do very early. Okay, but as you progress, you want to be getting attack percentage. Yellow items can only roll up to 8. I'll go through it actually. Blue items can't be rolled up at all. Purple, get to +4. Red to yellow to +8. Red to +12. And then when you get white gear, you get +16. So the better quality of gear, the more you can roll up their main stats. Really important in the bottom row to get the highest quality of gear that you can. Okay, so if I can put on a red item like this, then I will, because I can roll that up and give me a higher main stat. Then ideally, in an ideal world, this is a fantastic helm, by the way, with attack percent, with crit damage and crit rate. Ideally, you want substats which help as well. But main stats and gear sets help a lot in the very early game. Yeah, so if I'm looking to build up this damage dealer, I basically want to find sets which give me things like crit rate or crit damage. Yeah, or attack percent. Pretty much sets with the right main stat are fantastic for the early game. And then as you develop further and further, you'll get more understanding of gear. Same sort of thing with boots here. So with boots, it's giving me an extra attack piece, when actually what I would like is attack percent. Yeah, I'll get tons more attack out of these boots than I would out of those extra attack boots. So the equip all, useless. Go and find your gear. When you put the right gear on the right champions, you will progress tons further. Fact. Absolute fact. And because you don't spend to move gear around, you can actually move gear as much as you like, no problem. Now, when you're leveling up a piece, you can actually go into the forge here. You can use a little cogwheel down at the bottom here and say, initially you just want to use the hammers, but you might get to a point where it's like, I don't need blue gear anymore. You click the little rare icon and it will feed all of the blue gear into this before it starts using your hammers. Your hammers are a pretty, not rare resource, but you don't get tons of them, okay? And then eventually, if you're at my position now, I also feed my purple gear. Yeah, so I do +4 at a time, confirm, upgrade +4, and it will take me +4 up, and I'll also get to see extra stats on the piece. But you can see here it's fed all of my purple and blue gear to do that. If you put levels into a piece that you don't need anymore, like this yellow piece here, I can feed that in, and well, actually, all of the resources that I threw into that initial piece will now go into my main piece. So there's no reason not to upgrade your gear if you're using it, because when you then feed it into another piece, you actually get your benefit back. So we've talked about gearing an attack hero just briefly there. Bottom row, crit rate, attack percent, and then try and look for crit rate and crit damage. Yeah, if we're doing a tank, ideally, actually, pretty much want HP percent, and really important, you want damage reduction on your boots. Yeah, this is a really important stat for that main tank. Generally, HP percent over defense percent, but maybe a balance of the two is not bad. Don't forget, I don't really want my tank necessarily doing damage. I want them to stay alive. Yeah, and then the healer, you kind of just need to check out what the stats are that they use their heal from. But for Serena here, it's about her max HP. So again, you're kind of looking for HP percent. And if you can get yourself a healing set, which comes a little bit later in the game, then that's going to give you 35% more healing, which again is very good. So that's gearing. Make sure you put a bit of time into it. It will massively enhance your game. Okay, now quickly walk you through the base here. So different buildings get added as you develop through the game. So it's not immediately as kind of busy as this. But ultimately, as you get through different levels of your campaign, different things open up. You go into your command center. You don't really need to do a lot here other than click it. It opens up another building. Okay. And from here, you get things like your shop. I'll go into that in a bit of detail in a second. Recruitment center is where you do your summons. Prototypes you gain over time. These give you additional stats. Commanders give you additional stats. They've also got skills. So commanders will basically benefit particular types of hero in your team. And an easy way to kind of see if they are benefiting your heroes or not is go into a fight and you change your commander and you just see this kind of like, if I'm in the way here, I'm a little bit. You can just see who they help. Yeah, so different heroes will help different people on your team depending on who you've got. And I don't have a lot of good options here other than to show you these two in the back row. I guess I could change out my heroes. So if I put in an assassin here, then change my commander to this dude, you'll see he benefits assassins. Yeah, so a really good rule of thumb is just put in your team and decide who you want to be your carry, you know, for a particular bit of content, and bring a commander in that makes sense for that team. And just worth saying as well, like commanders give your team additional stats. They also have the skill, which affects that particular style of champion that I just spoke about. And then randomly, depending on when you upgrade them and unlock them, they also will help different heroes. And I think it's completely RNG who they unlock. They will help different heroes on their ultimate skills. So you want to be trying to find one, if you get lucky, that actually helps your heroes that you're using. And you'll also get a couple of slots when you get a bit later on with higher level commanders as well. So it's worth leveling up more than one of the same type of commander if they're going to benefit your team, to try and find someone who actually affects the champion that's your carry. So one of the things that opens up quite early is the outpost. This is kind of just like an idol. Send out your heroes, they come back, they get you some stuff. The further you are through the game, or the higher level you've got to, the better the stuff becomes. You can do a quick dispatch or send it out for you, and then just come back in and collect the rewards as they come in. You will just progress quicker if you do this every day. It's just a daily thing. You see here, they reset every 24 hours. Do it, and just don't forget to do it. That's it. Simple as that. Guild opens up, I think, at like stage 12, 20 or something. I might be wrong on that. But yeah, when the guild unlocks, make sure you join. You can come and join the HH Gaming guilds if you like. I'll give you a quick rundown of that. So on my Discord, we've got an Eternal Evolution section. If you click the little emoji in Eternal Evolution Welcome Room, it will open up the rest of the section. And one of the areas there is Join a Guild. Yeah, so as I say, we've got bazillion HH Gaming guilds that you could come and get involved in. both in NA and in EU. So come and do that. But being in a guild, it unlocks things like the daily challenges, the bosses, which give you rewards. Very easy. Cool thing as well. Yeah, you can go in there, challenge the boss. I've got a separate video all about boss fights. So you can check that out in terms of like basic beginner's guides to that. But once you've kind of done it and you're happy with the way it works, you can just end the fight. It's done. I'll get my rewards. I do it twice a day and move on with my life. So that's not something you need to kind of sit there and watch all the time. As guilds level up, we get more slots available as well. Now, all of the different areas have got shops. The guild shop, you don't want to spend anything in at all until you get to a point where this becomes white gear, which is the highest level. Don't buy any guild gear. It's expensive, and you can save up a decent amount of coins if you don't spend in there at all, so that when it becomes white and it's like long-lasting gear for your account, you can then invest heavily in the guild shop. So we might as well go through the other shops as well, because some of these, again, it's like a daily. This is a daily thing to do. The main shop is a way that you can get these red crystals. I said they're hard to get. Yeah, just gold is not that hard to get. Red crystals are hard to get. I'll tell you what we do. We convert gold into red crystals. Yeah, so I buy this every day. I buy this with my diamonds every day. I look to see if there's any kind of good value summoning ones. I will pick this up because I'm quite mental with the amount of diamonds I've got, but that's up to you. I feel like you get a good amount of diamonds regularly. I pick up anything which is basically being bought for gold. So these hammers I pick up every day. And I'll also pick up the runes every day as well if they pop up. They're random whether they pop or not. Okay, so the rest of it's kind of down to you. This is a bug. I've already bought it. Yeah. I then refresh the shop twice a day. The cost of diamonds goes up every time you refresh. But because these red crystals are so scarce and valuable, I actually refresh twice, and I'll go back in and I'll buy up the stuff which I like. Hammers, red crystals, and summons which I feel like are good value. I normally buy the Commander XP ones as well, but that's up to you, that one. Yeah, and then we go in for the second refresh, and I do the same thing again. So basically, I'm getting an extra kind of chunk of these red crystals. That's the main thing. I'm also getting some summons, which keeps my food count going up, and I'm getting ways to level up my gear and my talents. Yeah, so they're things that I do every day. The Wasteland shop is a good way to get copies. Remember we spoke earlier about needing copies of heroes to evolve properly. Save up your Wasteland shop for the big heroes that you're trying to evolve. I currently want Taylor and I want Sorietta. Yeah. If you somehow get to the point where you don't want the actual champions in there, then you can just buy food down the bottom here. But I would massively advise not the food. Get the heroes you actually want. Dismissal you can just kind of do whenever you like. This is, I would always buy the tokens down here. There's no point buying exact heroes. I don't really know when you would, but I would just buy up these tokens down here. It gets you more summons. And the arena shop, I've been saving up to get a copy of an SSS champion. But definitely you could pick up the elite champions if you want to kind of specifically level up someone. Got like a couple of the best tanks in the game here. Oak, Boar, they're two of the best. Hercules is good too. So they're all good heroes in here, really. I guess, I don't know if people do this, but for 6,000, 5 limited tokens when you're getting yourself ready for the summoning event, feels like it's pretty good value to me. Also, 5,000 here is, I feel like these two are pretty solid value because I've only been doing Galactic Arena for maybe 8 or 9 days, maybe 10 days. And yeah, I mean, I've got 145k already. Okay, the video might be running a bit long. Apologies if you're getting bored, but I feel like there's still some more stuff to talk about here. So, Soul Mine, a bit like Campaign. As you improve your heroes, just go back into it again. You'll get an extra few levels. Be aware after level 100, I missed this actually, you get almost like a faction style Soul Mine running alongside it. So you want to make sure that you're kind of coming out of the main Soul Mine and doing the faction ones as well. And every time you do a level, you get some rewards, yeah? So you're just constantly pumping rewards. You just want to be pushing Soul Mine every time you upgrade your heroes. And you'll find you get an extra few levels. Same thing with the mini ones. Arena, I just go in and I do my 5 hits of normal arena and galactic arena a day. This opens up after a bit of time. Normal arena, do get an extra couple of cheeky diamonds at the front here. But yeah, normal arena, you can just kind of refresh and look for a reasonable fight for you. Just fight 5 easy fights is my view. If you can go higher, do, because you unlock some pretty good stuff. But the cool thing about the arena, yeah, I've got an easy fight here. If you do your 5 fights, I can just skip the fight, by the way. I don't need to watch it unless you want to. But you get rewards for each fight as well. So it's not just where you're placed. You're also getting rewards for the win. And sometimes that is talent improvement. Sometimes it's those red crystals. So it's worth doing your 5 fights at least. And when you get Galactic Arena, same sort of thing. But you want to be pushing up as high a level as you can. Because you get more of the resource per hour. A bit like with the campaign. More resource per hour. And a cool tip here. So if I want to fight this dude, the higher the kind of person that I'm fighting, the better the amount of increase I get per hour. That's the first thing. But also, you could throw in a massive team, team 1, a massive team, team 2, and then a definite loss, team 3. I don't know why I'm fighting someone quite so low here, actually. But as long as you win 2 of the fights, you win the fight. Yeah, so don't try and win all 3. Don't try and balance your team out. Make sure that you're fighting someone. Let's see if I fight someone bigger here. This is someone big. Maybe I can't win any of the fights, actually. No, I can't. Try this one. Yeah, this is more like it. So you see here, I cakewalk this. I've got a massively higher power. Second one, he's done a dominate me. And then the third one is kind of close. So what I would do is I would flip my second team and my third team around. Yeah, and what that means is, now the second team I'm getting absolutely dominated. I don't care. The third team, I dominate him. I get 2 definite wins. And that pushes me up. I get more resources per hour. And that's the way you should fight Galactic Arena. Is just make sure you get 2 wins, get your rewards, move on with your life. And if you're someone who particularly loves Arena, fine, you carry on doing what you want to do. But that's for the average player. Get your 5 fights in a day, make sure they're all wins. Now, I've done a separate video about bosses where you can kind of see how you should build teams and stuff like that. But quick rundown here. Ancient Altar, wait until the end of the week, until you're at your strongest, then do your hits. Tara Dome, just kind of beat the best level you can. Sinsaro Marsh, do the same as well. Do these daily. Decent Caves is where it's at for gear. Yeah, so as you're developing your account, you want to make sure you're fighting the highest level you can. But one big tip here is do your 3 normal hits a day. Cool thing about this game is you can actually do all 3 hits in one go once you've beaten that level 1 time. But also, every day, with your diamonds, buy up more additional hits. Now, early game, you might want to use some of those and get yourself some gear. But what I've been doing for the last 5 or 6 days is just saving up my additional hits. And I'm going to save it until I get to level 10. And at level 10, we unlock the highest quality of gear that's available in the game right now, which is this kind of purpley white gear. And then I'm going to explode all of my saved hits into level 10. I'm going to try and beat level 10, by the way, tonight on stream. So if you want to come and watch, come and get involved, 8 p.m. UK time. But yeah, basically, I save as many of these as possible for that level 10 smash. So I get this kind of massive influx of real quality gear. So early on, you might use these, but when you get to a point where you're kind of getting steady progression, I would start saving these up and buy them every day with your diamonds. Rise of Heroes, there's always, well, there's not always, sometimes there's events up here. They are always insanely good rewards for, I'd say, reasonable effort, but not high effort. Okay, so to go into the fights, every time you beat one, once you've beaten it once, you can sweep it. So you want to sweep the highest levels you can to get more of this token. These tokens, yeah. So sweep as many as you can at the highest possible level. Get more of these tokens. Buy up as much of this as you can every day. You can only do it once a day, but you can do it every day. Yeah, and sweep them all. Just keep an eye on the event missions. So for this one in particular, I've beaten up normal a ton of times, which got me a load of summons and stuff. And now I need to go to hard. So just kind of, you make decisions based on what you can beat up, basically, to get the best rewards for you. But definitely want to be getting involved in these events as they pop up, because they are extremely good. Okay, let's talk Wasteland. Wasteland is something which I thought was so long and dull and all this type of stuff at first. I was kind of pretty down on Wasteland. You don't have to fight everyone here. Yeah, you can kind of whiz your way through, picking the fight that just gets you to the end game as quick as possible. You also don't need to pick up all of these swords. All I would make sure that I do is pick up the resource packs. Yeah, pick up the extra dude at the start. Make sure you pick up, if there is one, an SSS, because he's going to help you with your fights. If there's swords en route, I pick up the swords and it helps my fights. Generally try and take the damaged ones where I can. But I'll go into a battle. I pretty much kind of cakewalk the battle. So, I don't really have a problem. As long as you're continuing your leveling up, I don't really have a problem with any of the battles, and I can skip fights wherever I want. But you'll see for like Route 1, I've only taken a couple of fights. I'll grab stuff if it's like freebie stuff, along the way. And basically, I'll just whiz my way through the whole Wasteland. The reason being is at the end, you do get good stuff. So for me, one of the main reasons to do this Wasteland is this shop here. You can get yourself some of these crystals, a good amount for a low amount of diamonds. It's one of the best ways to get it in the game. You can get yourself talent potions, pick those up. You can get yourself upgrades for exclusive weapons. I would pick those up as well. I never buy the gear in here. I do buy most other things in here. And you'll see the way I took the least possible fights here. So I'm going back on myself to get this little reward crate. Beautiful. And then I can go and fight the boss. And I've skipped really like probably 70 to 80% of the whole Wasteland to just try and do it as quick as I can and just kind of punch through it. Pretty easy. It's nowhere near as daunting as it seems. And when you beat the boss, as I say, you get a summon, you get some extra credits and stuff. So well worth doing. The two other things I'm going to run through quickly then. The Elite campaign, again, it's just an area that you continue to kind of work your way through. But you can go back to old levels. So, for example, I'm trying to get an extra copy here of Taylor. I can go back into an old level, hit the sweep it 3 times, and run my chance of getting this kind of fragment of a Taylor. Eventually, I'll have enough to get myself a full kind of Taylor to put into an evolve. And again, you just kind of get extra rewards really for doing something very quick. You can only do the sweep once you've beaten something 6 out of 6. But it's a really quick way. If you haven't got time to try and punch on with the levels, you can just hit the sweep and make sure that you use them really fast. And with the actual campaign, just a very simple tip. You don't always have to be full auto. Okay, so firstly, are your heroes in a position that they're actually going to do their abilities in the right place? But I could just hit the auto button and say, you know what? For my Ravina here, I want to control the ultimates myself. Yeah, which means I'm going to get maximum value out of them. So when I do my ult, I kind of, you see this wheel, I move it around. I position it so that it actually covers. You can see they go highlighted white. That way I'm only hitting 2. That way I'm hitting all 3. If you've got levels that you are struggling to beat, try some different things. You don't lose any energy. You don't lose any stamina or whatever for trying stuff. So a few things to try. 1, you control ults yourself. That's 1. 2, try using 2 tanks, 1 healer, 2 DPS as an option. 3, try using 1 tank, 2 healers, 2 DPS as an option. Like, just play around with it. It doesn't cost you anything to kind of mess around with different challenges that you've not beaten yet. So it's well worth doing. And you'll probably find you actually enjoy the game more as well. So there you go. That is it for my ultimate beginner's guide. There's probably tons more I could go through, honestly. Like, basics like do your daily missions, blah, blah, blah. All of that stuff, I think, is a bit of a gimme. But hopefully you've learned a bit more about Eternal Evolution. And as I said right at the start, if you want to download using my link, it'll be down in the pinned comment where you get a bunch of free stuff for getting involved as well. I've been Hell Hades. I'll catch you later.